Good morning, everybody. This is, I think, episode 5 of Business for Business, and today we will be interviewing Justin Luth with Luco Construction. And Justin is a serial entrepreneur, and we like having them on here. So, Justin, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and what your business does?
My name's Justin Luth, Nebraska-raised kid, running Luco Construction right now. Been in business for 5 years now, since 2014. Do a little bit of everything. We're actually in the process of establishing another brand that's in the works right now.
Yeah.
Trying to hit a couple different markets, so we'll let you know as soon as we get to that as well. But Luco Construction's rolling and doing great work, and that's where we're at.
All right.
Going into winter, just trying to stay busy.
Yeah, construction tends to take a pounding during the winter unless you got a bunch of indoor work. That was the biggest complaint about from a lot of the construction guys I used to know in some of the networking groups is it slowed way down in the winter. And when I did construction, I was down in Texas, so never really got cold and ugly.
Yep, absolutely.
So, what was your life like before you started this business?
Life's good. Life's always what you make it, but as far as business goes, I used to run a company called Best of Business Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
Made a lot of great connections in the community, did a lot of great things, just didn't do a good enough job as a business owner. Learned a lot of stuff though, got a lot of experience just helping out business owners, doing marketing, advertising, different community events, and can't really pinpoint exactly why I failed or succeeded. Just I take everything on myself. I didn't do a good enough job, and but I knew I had the confidence in myself to run a business and just transition into the construction industry. That I've basically been in that since I was about 19 years old. More in the sales field of that, but that's what I did before this.
Okay. And for those that don't know, Best of Business Lincoln in Omaha was a marketing and advertising effort that involved a magazine. And getting a magazine off the ground is probably one of the hardest things you can do in the marketing field, especially going into this day and age. So, it's not uncommon for that to not work, but I was a part of that effort way back in the day, and he did some fantastic stuff, some give back to the community stuff. And I mean, if you're going to fail, that's the right way to fail.
Absolutely.
Because you left a lasting impression on everyone that worked with you in that. So, what made you decide to start this business in construction? Your last one was marketing, this one's construction. That's kind of vastly different fields. What was the decision here?
It's definitely different fields, but I always look at it that if you run a business, it's one thing to know how to install a window in a house. It's another thing to run a window installation business. Marketing and advertising, I still have to implement everything that I taught people and worked with people on in Best of Business, and I just implement it now into my own business practice for Luco Construction. So balancing between running the business and creating a job for myself is just something that I work on every single day for the business, trying to grow. I've always had a background in construction and construction sales, a lot of different resources in the community, people that I've known. And I just basically got a job handed to me. Somebody wanted me to fix their roof for them. They had storm damage on it. Got the first job, and that's where Luco Construction started. I needed a name, so my last name's Luth. I took the LU from that, and my mom's maiden name's Soulful. So I took the CO from that and made Luco Construction, and it's been rolling ever since.
I hear that story a lot is, I got a job and I decided this is what I want to do, so let's make a shot of it.
This is what we're going to do now.
So, there's a big jump from getting that first job and then turning it from a job into a business. So how'd you make that happen?
That's kind of my specialty, is just making work happen. I don't need much. I don't do really a whole lot of advertising. I just get out there and network with people and talk to people and make business happen. Once I did the first job, got a couple of referrals from that, got some business cards and a Facebook page, and that was about it.
Nice.
I can't say that every business is going to be successful being able to do that, but kind of running a one-man show and the operation, running my business the way that I do, I don't need a high volume of advertising or marketing to accomplish what I need to get done.
Not a whole lot of extra hands in the pocket.
No, not at all. Not at all.
So, aside from making it happen, a lot of people, even a lot of people that have been in that kind of situation where they got that first opportunity and didn't make something of it. So it's the fear of getting started. People are used to being employees. People are used to having the safety of having a paycheck every 2 weeks, a 40-hour paycheck, work for somebody else. All the risk is not on them. How'd you get past the fear of starting a business? I know it's your second one, especially coming off of one that did not work, and you're going to do it again. So how'd you get past that fear of starting?
Well, the first thing is I didn't make any excuses for Best of Business. I didn't plant blame on anybody I worked with. I didn't plant blame on society or the market or anything like that. I put it all on my shoulders. If you blame someone else, then how can you fix anything? Because you can't control what's going on around you. All you can control yourself. So I took it 100% on myself that the reason the business failed is I just didn't do good enough. The second thing is I don't really have fear of anything, so I was just ready to go with it. I go back to when I was a sales manager for a construction company here in Lincoln. One of the first things that I would teach our sales reps is you don't need anything except for a pen and a contract. Everybody has this mind state that I need a billboard or a fancy office or a new truck or these different kind of things that you need, and I can't move forward with business until I have these things.
Yep.
So one of the first activities that I would have them do is we wouldn't even give them business cards at first. I would have them write their name and phone number on a scratch piece of paper and go talk to people. Just knock on a door, start a conversation, and see what you can make happen. And they would quickly learn that it's more about them and what they have inside of them than it is on what they have. And then you can make anything happen just by being a good person and going out and how are you doing today?
Yep.
I've made so much money for the businesses and for other people that I've worked with. Just, hello, how are you doing today? Simple things like that, as opposed to some fancy business spiel that you want to throw at somebody, or a suit and a tie. Not to say anything bad about people who wear suits and ties, but
I put it on for videos.
But it's more about just having the mindset that not having fear or anything holding you back. That it's about yourself and going out there and making that happen. So. As far as starting Luco Construction, I wanted business cards just so that they were basic though. It wasn't anything fancy at all. Didn't have an office, just worked out of my truck. Didn't really, like I said, you don't need anything except for a pen and a contract.
Yeah, well, and it's one of the things I talk about a lot to people, especially you guys that watch me on video. The worst thing that can happen to you, aside from running into a serial killer somewhere, the worst thing that can happen to you is they're going to tell you no. And they may add some profanity to that and tell you, hell no. But, they're not taking anything away from you when they do that. You are where you are, and when you get a no, it doesn't take anything from you. You have some time invested, maybe some pride, but you're not worse off than when you started. So how can the fear of someone saying no be what you use to slow you down?
And those are necessary to achieve what you need to achieve anyway and get to your goal. They're unavoidable. I look at numbers and I break things down a lot, especially in the sales aspect of business. If you establish your closing percentage, let's say you're a 50% closer, that means you're going to get 5 no's for every 5 yeses. So if you let the first no bring you down instead of just looking at it as something necessary to get where you need to get to. And I'll go back to Best of Business Lincoln. Whenever I ran that, one of my proudest moments of the sales aspect of it was I cold called the guy and gave him my sales pitch over the phone, talked to him about what Best of Business Lincoln was and what I could do for him. He said, you know what, I'm just not interested. I'm good on my marketing. I don't need anything at the moment. And I told him, I respect your time very much. I thank you for taking the time to talk to me. I respect your decision. Instead of handling it bad and getting angry about it, and I simply asked, do you think this might be beneficial for anybody else that you know? And he just told me, I respect the way you handled this. No one else ever, people try to handle things the wrong way when they get a no instead of handling it with respect. He said, call my other friend. He runs another company here in town. And I guarantee he needs this and it's something that'll help him out. I gave his friend a call. He said, my buddy told you to do this, I'll go with it. and sold them right over the phone. He mailed me a check right there. So if you handle things correctly, sometimes those no's can help you out, and not everybody can be your customer right then and there. So it's important to be able to handle the no's and just understand that it's part of the process.
It is, and every good salesperson, long-term salesperson, you get used to it. You know, no's make you better, lets you hone your craft. If everybody told you yes, everybody could be a salesperson and everybody'd make money. That's why everybody says sales is where you go before you go somewhere else to get rich. So you got your first job and you decided to go out and make it happen. You know, a lot of people think they have to have a good safety net in the bank. They have to have a good cushion to start a business. You know, I started my first business with $5,500 in the bank and a thought that I can do this better and more effectively than anybody else. And that's not this business. It's my first one about a decade ago. How'd you get the funds and get off the ground starting your own business?
I had nothing. I had personal issues in my life that I didn't handle very well. I'm not going to get into the details of that, but I let it drag me down. And it was more of a necessity than an opportunity that was just laid out in front of me. I had to make it happen for myself, for my kids. And I got one job, I had a truck, and an opportunity to make money. And I went out and did it. Spent 4 days doing 3 roofs on a farmhouse and their shed and their barn, doing the work myself in pretty warm temperatures and just getting out there and working hard. And you know, a couple people saw when they drove by, I ended up getting jobs from them, and it just went. I won't give the impression everything's been smooth. You know, I've had ups and downs even within Luco Construction, just fighting through winter, fighting through injury, fighting through you know, bad business decisions that I've made. You know, I haven't been perfect. I've never ran a construction company before. Lots of things that I've had to learn, but it's just staying after it and willing to work. And just, you know, that's the logo for the motto for Luco Construction.
Yeah.
Ready to work, and that's just what I do. After I get out of here, I'm gonna go put in 8 hours on the job today.
Nice. And you know, part of what you're talking about is acting with intent. You know, people can just go out there and just do their thing, and then they get knocked in the dirt, and then they let them keep it. They let it keep them down.
Yeah.
But what you're talking about is that I've talked to other business coaches and other business speakers and mentors, and every one of them, it all comes down to the same thing. If you act with intent, even when you get defeated, if you still got the intent, you're still acting with the intent, it can't keep you down.
Absolutely. I've always operated best when I have my back to the wall.
Yeah,
When it's time to produce and you have to, and sometimes that's a mind state that holds me back a little bit. I get a little antsy when things are going well, expecting, you know, what's going to happen next, what's going to be an issue. So that's just the growth within the business that I'm in right now. Trying to establish a better foundation underneath myself, because when I started the company, you know, I'd never suggest for somebody to wish to start a business like that. Obviously, you'd like to have money set aside.
A little bit, yeah.
Obviously, you'd like to be able to plan properly to have the business run and everything. Unfortunately, I didn't have that option, so I had to just go and run with it. I have 4 boys that I have to take care of. I have myself, and you know, it's one of those things I can't afford to live off of a $12 an hour job.
Yep.
And so I had to just make it happen in my business, and you know, I love every minute of it.
You know, a lot of the most successful people I've ever talked to said, yeah, you know, I got my stuff right when I got backed into a corner where I hit rock bottom and I had nowhere else to go, and it was do this or, you know, call it the end.
Absolutely.
So that's a good one amongst the ones that have made it. So in your business, do you have any employees?
I do not have any employees.
Do you use subcontractors?
I do have some subcontractors. I have people that help me out on some projects for day labor. Specific tradesmen, you know, somebody that'll come in. For instance, I just built a sunroom for a lady and had a concrete slab that we had to pour footings around the entire thing. Hired a concrete specialist to come in and help us do the concrete part of it. He subcontracted him out, had him help us that way. Other than that, you know, anytime I have people help me out with sales, I give them referral bonuses and things. But as far as actual employees with me, I don't have any employees.
Run lean, so you're more like a general contractor.
General contractor, but at first, when I first started Luco Construction, it was 100% general contracting. I didn't know Other than the first roof that I did myself, I didn't really know a whole lot about the construction side of things, and I was more just sales motivated. Go find a job, hire out a crew. I've got great people that I work with in the community: roofing crews, gutter crews, siding crews that help me out with things, and I would subcontract all this stuff out. We were blessed in Lincoln to get hit with a huge hailstorm about 3 or 4 years ago, and there was roofs and work for everybody. The only negative part to that is now everybody has a new roof in Lincoln.
Yep.
Everybody has new gutters. All that work is done. Nobody has a need for new roofing. So at that point, what do you do for business? You have to adapt.
Yep.
And I transitioned into learning how to do a lot of the stuff myself and different kind of projects, working on decks, building sunrooms, doing drywall. I just got a contract doing a bunch of bathroom work up in Omaha, remodeling bathrooms. That'll be a lot of my winter work this year. And it's always the businesses that are willing to transition into what they need to succeed in the long run. If you stay stuck on your first business model and believe I'm going to do this, you can run yourself into the ground.
Yep.
When we grew up, there was Blockbuster Video. They're gone now.
Mm-hmm.
The market got rid of them. Who knows? I can't say what the owners of that company are doing for business now, but they're not doing Blockbuster Video.
They're not doing Blockbuster.
Garmin started out doing the little GPS
Mm-hmm.
things. Now everybody has it on their phone. That's not a successful thing. I saw different ads on TV. They transition different stuff. So, I still have work that I do subcontracted with different crews. I just had a siding job done by Luco Construction. They're great friends of mine. They do great work, and I'm not an expert in siding doing it myself, so I subcontract out.
There you
Did it
go.
for me, and just trying to stay fluent within the market and do what's going to keep us going.
All right. So in the last 5 years you've been running this, what's a couple of the biggest challenges you've been through here, as a business owner?
I would say just making the proper decisions, and then the stress of not having a safety net underneath me. When you have a huge safety net, or let's say you get a grant or a loan,
Mm-hmm.
have $100,000 in the bank for business, you can make a mistake and financially afford to be able to just take that on. For myself, starting things, all my mistakes hit me hard. So keeping that cash flow going and learning from my mistakes on the fly, and just doing, sometimes you just have to bite the bullet and just make it happen. So that's been a struggle. And for this business, and pretty much every business owner that I know, finding good help. That's the hardest thing to do, finding good people that are reliable, that are ready to show up to work. I can't even tell you how many times I've had somebody call me about, I need this opportunity, I need work, I need money for whatever, but then, it's 11 o'clock on Monday and they call me, what are we doing for work today? Well, I mean, I was working at 7, I don't know what you're doing for work today, but you're just not ready to do what it takes to take advantage of it. So, a lot of people say they're ready and they want things, but they're not ready to work for it. So finding good help that's reliable it's the hardest thing for every business owner to do.
Yes, it is. And that's one of the big questions I see a lot of. So, other than those challenges, what things kind of blindsided you? What took you by surprise? It's just something you didn't know and it came up and got you as a business. And it doesn't even have to be construction related, because there's different business things that happen to everybody, and
money motivates people, but some people, they're so comfortable in their state of mind that money doesn't do anything to motivate them. Give people a raise, and the only thing they do is drink more on the weekends. have more. It doesn't do what you think it's going to do to motivate people.
We had a conversation about that last week. Me and another one is, most people are more about culture at this point in the business and the company and, like the family, than they are about making more money.
Absolutely. And obviously money is the point of work. Nobody wants to come to work for free or anything like that. But I've just noticed that, you have to take care of the people you work for.
Mm-hmm.
You have to treat them right. and train them properly to stay within the business. I saw a saying once, like there was I don't know, some Facebook post, I think, that
That's where the best ones come from.
an employee or a manager was talking to a CEO of the company. He said, well, what if we train all of our guys really well and then they go work for somebody else? And the CEO says, well, what if we don't train them and they stay here?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you don't take care of the people you work with and you don't get them onto the level you need them to be at, you're just going to be running in circles all the time,
Yep.
always chasing your tail, just, you know, making mistakes over and over and over. And
they'll be the same ones.
same mistakes over and over. So that really blindsided me, you know, how unprepared some people are to really take it serious. And the other thing, you know, it's my business. I'm passionate for it. I love it. A person that just works for you, they're not gonna have that same
No.
kind of passion. And it's hard, you know, you're so caught up in what you're doing. And you just look at them like, how come you're not as passionate about
Mhm.
this as what I am? And they, you know, they don't have the same motivation as you do. So
Yeah.
it's, I think it's human nature more than anything else, but
Yep, and that's always the difference between the employee and the owner. You know, the owner gets wound up, gets excited, gets motivated, gets, you know, all those things, and an employee gets a paycheck. So it's the way it's always worked. So one of the things that I try to tell people thinking about getting into small business is that becoming a business owner will definitely have an effect on their personal life.
Yeah.
You know, and you see a lot of posts online around about how you should have a work-life balance and all this other stuff that I call BS. You know, there is no work-life balance, it's just life. So
everything's work.
that's right, it is. And if it's something you're that passionate about and someone wants you to separate it off during certain times of the day or of the week or whatever, that's unhealthy for you as a business owner. And then when you feel bad about it, it's even worse. It's a cycle. It's probably one of the reasons why the divorce rate is so incredibly high amongst business owners, because we are so passionate, and having us separate that passion out is like cutting off an arm. You know, so what effect did becoming a business owner have on your personal life?
It's tough. I could work 24 hours a day for the next 3 months and not have all my work done that needs to get done. So I've actually had to force myself to have a personal life, as far as stopping work at a decent time, going to the gym to keep myself physically fit, making sure that I spend time with my kids. When I have them around, you know, it's supposed to be family time. It has to be family time. Now they're getting to the age where they like what I do and they want to come hang out with me. So sometimes we'll do some smaller projects to come hang out at the job site and things like that. But really just making sure that I can focus on family time when it's family time. Small things that I enjoy. I'm a fisherman, love going fishing. So on the weekends I go do that. But you know, it is a lot of sacrifice to own your own business, because the work's not done at 5 o'clock when you want to clock out. There's so much more to do, and it's just a never-ending cycle. There's always something to do, but you'll drive yourself crazy trying to keep up with all of it, instead of just settling in to a solid work pattern, having steady and consistent work. And then when it's time to shut it off, just shutting everything off.
Yeah,
and
so
enjoying
I'm done for the
yourself.
day.
You're done for the day. So it's tough. But I personally, I enjoy the business part of it. And it's something that, you know, keeps me out of trouble, keeps me focused on what I need to do. But I run the business and work in it. There's a difference between operating a business and creating a job for yourself.
Yep.
And I'm in the middle of basically doing both. I run a business and do all the marketing and advertising, everything on that side of it. And then I also work in the business doing all the labor stuff. So like I said, I could work 24 hours a day and still not be completely caught up with everything I need to do.
It's like the Army says, there's always one more thing you can do.
Always.
And it's, you know, you got to learn when it's time to say, not today.
Not today, not now.
So how do you go about finding clients in your industry? What works for you?
A lot of word of mouth. Obviously, doing a good job on your projects. But back to the sales side of things, a lot of old school sales reps that had the ABC mentality. Always be closing.
Always be closing.
Always be closing.
Always be closing.
I don't believe in that. I believe you close in the sales process when the procedure and everything's followed and you close at the right time. I believe in ABM, always be marketing, because it's a numbers game. If I'm a 50% closer, then I need to provide myself with the adequate amount of leads to keep the business flowing, because it'll all dwindle down. If you have 100 leads, maybe you'll get 50 appointments or 75 appointments. Out of those 75 appointments, maybe 50 of them will show up to the appointment. There's always no-shows.
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
my kid's
Always.
sick. There's always things like that. Out of those 50 appointments that you go to, maybe 25 of them can't afford the product. They just are looking for an estimate, something like that. And you only get through 25 actual demonstrations and sales processes, and then it comes down to your closing percentage. Those are just rough numbers I'm just throwing out there. I was about an 87% closer this year, so I don't get too many no's when it comes down to it. But it's all about.
That means pay attention.
That means pay attention.
87%.
It all comes down to, there's so many steps that you can do prior to the closing step in the sales process that'll give you a better opportunity to close. So I look at it as always be marketing.
Yep.
ABM.
Keep the funnel full.
One of my most consistent clients right now that has me doing all kinds of work for him, kept me busy doing a lot of things. I met them at Home Depot. Didn't have any business cards on me.
Just signed a 2x4?
Just said, give me your phone, I'll put my number in. And I actually met his mom. She was standing in line talking to another guy about the struggles they had with the contractor that they were working with. And I just interrupted and said, ma'am, I'd like to help you out. My name's Justin. What's your name? And she told me her name. We started a conversation, said how we were doing. She said, well, thank you so much for helping us out. I'll take your number. I'm going to give it to my son, give you a call. And that turned into consistent work for about 3 months this summer on various different types of projects. They own properties here in Lincoln and have us, do a lot of remodeling. Remodeled a couple of decks, did some roofs. Going to be doing some concrete for them. Always be marketing. That's when you're in a level of business where I'm at, or if you're an individual sales rep for a company, if you're the CEO of a huge corporation, it's not going to make a huge dent if you're just out there handing out business cards every once in a while. If you have a 20-person sales staff that you need to keep busy, obviously you'll have to take the mentality of, I need mass marketing, I need different things to generate the leads for these guys. When you're in a position like myself where I don't need 10,000 jobs a year, or if you're an individual salesman for a car dealership or your own personal business or whatever it is, always be marketing. Any opportunity, you never know who you're going to meet that might be your next sale, or they might be your next referral, or they might just be that no you need to get out of the way and it's just some practice for you. But if you get into that mind state of always be marketing, everything's an opportunity for you to generate business, you can definitely keep the funnel full and keep business flowing.
Well, that answered my next question, which is, what's your best piece of marketing advice? It's always be marketing.
Always be marketing. As far as where I'm at, different businesses, everything's a little bit different. I would say you have to stay with the trends. 20 years ago, probably putting an ad in the phone book would have been a
Yellow Pages.
quality idea for a business owner. I don't know if that money's well spent now these days. I don't know if the Yellow Pages even believes that themselves. They try to sell you Google rankings, websites, social media, SEO, all those kind of other things.
Manage your stuff.
So, different businesses might have different trends. I would say social media now is a great thing to do. I always look at it that there's 3 sides of marketing you need to focus on. Branding, searchability. You have to be found.
Yep.
If somebody's looking for you for your own personal business name, you have to have good content on the internet for them to see. But then also have to make an attempt to grab the people that are looking for your industry. If somebody's looking for a roofing company in Lincoln, Nebraska, and you don't pop up on the internet, you don't pop up anywhere,
You got a problem.
you're not going to have that opportunity. If somebody's looking for your personal name, if I tell somebody, say I don't have business cards, and I meet somebody in line at Home Depot and say, look me up on the internet under Luco Construction. If I don't have good content out there for them to find, or
You're not going to show up.
or an old business number or whatever it is, you're not going to have that opportunity. So you have to focus on that. And then the third aspect that goes back to the ABM, making it happen. What are you doing once you have your marketing plan and strategy and set? What are you doing on a daily basis to go out and make things happen? How are you trying to generate business? So
See, that goes back to working with intent.
working with intent.
So, with your business entity being a construction company, what kind of corporate structure did you set up? You know, like an S corp, LLC. Yeah.
LLC.
Why'd you choose that one over your other options? Because I see a lot of questions on what type of corporate entity should I use and why, and so I ask everybody that sits there, you know, did you have any particular reason?
No, not a particular reason. It's just from the advice that I got from different people. I was part of the Southeast Community College incubator program. It was suggested that it would be good to have, you know, a limited liability corporation behind myself to be able to start things out that way with the business structure that I had, and I just thought it would be the best route to go.
Okay.
I can't say that I'm an expert on that end of it, which, you know, some of the other things. I know another construction company here in town. I won't mention their names. I don't know if they want me mentioning their business structure.
Don't talk about me.
But they're an S corp. I don't know what the advantages of that are. I think it's, you know, for taxes and things like that.
Those are primarily the two most common ones for small businesses, because either one of them will put the corporate veil between your personal assets and your business assets. So if you, like in your instance, if you accidentally burn down a house, they can't come sue you and take all your personal property.
Absolutely.
You know, so that's one of the biggest reasons I recommend either one of those is liability issues. You always want to drop the corporate veil between what you do personally and what you do professionally.
And being properly insured.
Yeah, it helps. It helps. In your opinion, because you're on your second go around too, what's the biggest questions people that want to start a business, any business, should ask but don't know to before they've started their first business? Like if they've got access to, like you said, the incubator program, or, you know, anywhere out there you can go talk to professionals, lawyers, accountants, people like me, other business owners. What should they ask that they don't know?
What are the little things that are going to drive me crazy within the business? I know a young lady, she owns a Mexican restaurant here in town. And one of the biggest things that I'm sure they didn't think about this when they started the business was they serve chips and salsa when people, right away when people get there, right? And the customers are looking through their menus. Their menus get trashed by the salsa that gets dropped on them all the time, because people are eating the chips, dropping the salsa on there. Always a consistent need for wiping down and cleaning the menus, ordering new menus, those kind of things. And that's expensive. It can take a lot out of your budget to be able to keep up with that. Those little kind of details that no one thinks about will be the difference between you properly running a business and you